Hey everyone, the digital detox. We've heard this term probably a lot over the last several years, especially since the pandemic of detoxing or removing us away from our devices, our screens, whether it's our phones, whether it's our iPads, our tablets, computers, TVs, what have you. Um, it is a term meant for health. The term digital detox is taking ourselves away from a situation for a period of time for the benefit of our health. So, what do I mean by that? Uh, I remember, like all of us probably has remembered at one time or another, uh, where we think we're so important that the world can't go on if we don't have our phone, if we don't have our device right in our hand, that we can not only feel it vibrate or see the screen light up when a new notification comes through. And these notifications over the course of a day can be upwards of a few hundred at different times. So just think of how many times we may be in the middle of homework or a conversation and we get startled to look down that we have a new notification on Instagram or Snapchat, or we have a new email that's come in, or our phone is ringing. And I have had probably one of the biggest problems with uh, having a reliance on my phone. And this goes all the way back to before the my mental health crash several years ago. And once I truly hit rock bottom, I reverted from using an Apple iPhone to a flip phone, so an old school device that didn't make things easier to text or email. But what it did do is it freed my mind a little bit. So um, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to text very long responses or messages, let alone emails or looking at my banking app or a social media app. And that was probably a very eye-opening experience for me to do that, to really take a step back from the machines and just operate as a simple human being of, again, just being a human being that isn't completely reliant 24/7 on a device or screen and go from one screen to the next. And with the pandemic and working from home, we'd have two or three screens at the house. Then we have our phones, and things just really uh, became an easy way to overwork ourselves, overwork our brains. You've heard me talk about, since the Industrial Revolution, we've evolved as humanity from a hunter and gatherer, so a physical human being where we physically hunt and gather the food, to now everything, many things inside our head, our brain, the mental side of things. And that brings me to the digital detox. Uh, we all we all from time to time need to charge our phones, and that's the device that a lot of us, myself included, the top of the list of relying on this device. And usually every night, I go ahead and plug in my phone to make sure it's fully charged for the day ahead. And the thought crossed my mind at some point, why don't I recharge my own mind, my own brain, my own body? Um, that could be, taking a rest, taking a nap for a period of time, so our body can heal. from the stresses that undoubtedly rule our lives, from deadlines to last minute deadlines where I may have had a deadline for 3 days from now, but I go to work and now my deadline for this particular project from 3 days from now is actually by lunchtime, and I have to finish this particular project. So you can throw everything else really out the window to work on this project to get that done. And then when that project's done, things don't really slow down. Uh, we move from one thing to the next thing. We try to be as efficient as possible, like the machines, talking about the Industrial Revolution. We as humanity are trying to grade ourselves, compare ourselves to machines that have little to no downtime. Uh, you and I know, at least for myself, I'm a human being, so I'm not going to be able to compete with a machine that's able to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with very little downtime. I'm going to need some downtime. I'm going to need some downtime to rejuvenate, to rest my mind, my body, my spirit. And so the digital detox is something that we need to do, not just talk about, not just have this negative connotation like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like I don't have any problems. This doesn't affect me. It does. I don't care who you are, where you're from. Screens affect our brains. The blue light, the more that blue light from phones and screens uh, has an effect on our brain. It stimulates our brain. Reed Hastings from Netflix has talked about one of his biggest competitors is sleep. So right there is a solid example of how companies are trying to infiltrate our minds, our lives, all day, every day, for the almighty dollar. So at what point are we going to, as individuals, take a step back and really think about how all this is affecting us, and how we may feel that we're able to accomplish many different things, that we're able to multitask because we have the phone. We can look at email, then we can look at our banking app, then we can look at social media, and we can just hop around and then feel like we accomplished 4 or 5 things, when maybe we accomplished those things, but at the quality, a much lower quality than if we were to focus on one thing at a time. So the digital detox, just got back from vacation with my family, and for me, a good amount of time was able to set my phone aside and try to plug in my mind and my body into the present, to rejuvenate, to rest, to relax, to spend time with family, to not be so caught up in my devices. And I bring that up today because, like I mentioned, I felt that, well, if I digital detox or unplug from the devices for a period of time, that I'm going to miss out. So the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Well, if I'm charging my phone or I'm not exactly with it, I'm going to miss out on some new story. I want to miss out on getting the notification at the exact moment that a particular message or a like or a share has taken place. And what I found at the end of the day, and it seems that I'm tend to be reminded usually at the end of vacations, because that's one of the few times where I actually do it, that life continued to go on. Life continued to go on even when I wasn't with my phone 24/7, and I wasn't zoned in to have to check things and feel like I, again, was just being so efficient that I'm getting ahead. That, oh, if I just do this one thing, I look at this one email, I respond to this one person, this one text, that I'm going to have one less thing to do in the next day. And that's not the case. And I found out at the end of vacation, again, life continued to go on. And as important as I thought I was, that I wasn't. That the amount of things that I missed, messages, notifications, or whatever the missed calls, the things that I felt that, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss out on this opportunity. And maybe we do miss out on an opportunity or two, but at what cost? So again, very surprised at how little transpired over the course of vacation, that I was able to, at the end of vacation, be able to just reintegrate myself in with my device, with my phone, with my screens. And so let that just be a lesson to you, to I, to anybody we care about and our loved ones, that if they don't respond to a message in milliseconds, doesn't mean that they're not wanting to respond to your message, doesn't mean that they don't like you anymore, or whatever we get in our head. It just means that that individual isn't right next to the phone at that very moment. And so that should be another lesson to us to say, well, if another individual or another company, I went for an interview and I didn't hear back, and I'm just on pins and needles, waiting to hear back, and should I follow up with a message, or when should I, or what's the protocol? The best thing to do is, if you're thinking about it, do it, but then also take a step back for yourself and let that be okay. And you shouldn't have to explain to somebody that you were doing something else, that you weren't by your phone at that very instant for those minutes or seconds. So let that be okay for us as our brains continue to be more and more stimulated, second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, and as the world turns. Because everybody is trying to get in our mind to be able to have us view their product, their service, to click on this link, buy this ticket, attend this event. And it's okay to take a step back. So let's do that. Let's take a step back. Let's refresh our minds, our bodies, take a walk outside, take a breath of fresh air, whatever that may be, that calms your mind, calms your body, that doesn't put you and I at this hyper focus where we feel that we have to be at a beck and call of every single person, whether we know them or whether we don't. If we're concerned about a particular business deal that we're interested in. And guess what? Those companies, those individuals, they're going to take their time getting back to you. So why don't we take our time getting back to them?